Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Today we have another guide on the balloon in general. We're going to talk about balloon, the pros and cons about it. We're going to talk on how to use the balloon the right way, the counters for balloon, the best synergies, the combos, and we are going to be taking in some general tips when it actually comes to using the balloon. So balloon in general is a really cool card. It's been great up in Clash of Clans as well as Clash Royale, and till date is definitely a cool card. So there are some things you need to keep in mind in order to get them to use your balloon the right and the effective way. So we're going to get in that in a moment, but before that, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Clash of Clans or Clash Royale content every single day. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoy this video, and make sure you click on the bell notification icon so that you don't miss any of my Clash of Clans or Clash Royale content as soon as I upload them. Okay, so when it comes to the advantages of actually using the balloon in your deck, the first thing is that it's a flying troop. So there are not a lot of counters for balloon in general for any air troop, because the amount of counters we have for ground troop is much less than what we have for the air troops. So flying troops, I mean the troops that are air, are definitely on the better side than what they have on the ground side of it. So if there's a prince, you definitely can have a lot of counters for it, but then when it actually comes to balloon, you definitely might not have the same amount of counters as it actually comes to the ground troop. The next thing is the targeting aspect of the balloon. It actually only targets the defenses and any defensive building that actually comes in. So that's again a really good thing to know, because if the opponent does not have any defensive buildings, and if in case he does not have any counter, then definitely the tower will be in some big threat. In fact, it will be taken down if you have a really good balloon for your opponent standards. Apart from that, the balloon also does a really good damage. The amount of damage it actually does is just massive, and that is something you can actually keep in mind, because if it just drops one bomb on that tower, it's definitely going to do a lot of damage. And apart from that, it also has the dead damage, which is again a really cool thing. Once it dies, I mean once the balloon is being taken down, there is a bomb that's going to pop up and it's going to explode in a 3-second time, and that's again going to do some damage. So these are the strengths, of course. When it comes to weakness, again, we do have some weakness when it actually comes to balloon. The first one probably would be the speed. The speed is, again, a big factor to any troop. The fact that the balloon is really slow at going to any tower, the time it actually takes to go from the bridge to that tower is really long, and in that time, if the opponent has a really good counter for it, then definitely the balloon is not gonna make it out to that tower. So that is something that's really bad about the balloon. And again, apart from that, we have the hit points factor that is really bad up in the balloon. It has some decent amount of hit points as compared to any other troop, but then that's not quite sufficient to actually take it to that tower, because it's quite slow. If it had the speed of any other troop, like maybe the Hog Rider, and if that would have been the hit points of the balloon, then definitely the balloon would have done the damage, but then that's not the case. So when it comes to counters, counters are the biggest thing in any game, and in this one, of course, balloon have counters. Counters in the sense, troops that can actually take down balloon successfully. So balloon do have some counters, the counters being the minion horde, which is a real big threat, the minion, the bats, tornado, electro wizard, the Executioner, and the Inferno Dragon. These are the counters. Of course, any other card can actually do the same stuff as what these guys can do, but then these are the counters in specific, because they actually work in most of the cases. And these again have some counters again for the counters of what balloons are. So the Electro Wizard can be taken down easily if you can actually go and put in a minion or a minion horde up behind with you. That will again do the damage. Again, the Tornado, you cannot help that as a situation. You can probably rage a balloon in order to fasten up the things they're actually doing, but then these are the counters again: the minion horde, the minion, the bat, the tornado, the electro wizard, executioner, and the inferno dragon. So when it actually comes to taking down these counters for your balloon, you definitely need to have something or the other in order to take down these counters, in order to make sure that the balloon is going to reach the tower and do some damage, or it's completely no point of actually taking the balloon into your deck. So now that you know the counters, we definitely need to make sure that we're using the balloons the right way, and to use them the most effective way, you need to consider synergies. In other ways, combos are what you can actually call them. So when it actually comes to combos, the best one I would say, and has always been, is the Lava Loon strategy. So Lava Hound along with the balloon is a really good combo, because the biggest advantage of the balloon is the fact that it does not has really good hit points, and the lava hound having really good hit points is something you need to take into consideration. So drop in the lava hound first and then drop in the balloon. In that way all the troops, all the counter 4 balloons are going to attack the lava hound, and again once the lava hound is going to explode, it's going to bring in lava pups. The lava pups, which is again a big threat, and in the meanwhile the balloon would have actually reached the tower and done at least one drop on that tower. So it all comes down to you selecting the right combo. In that case, the lava balloon strategy is a really great one. Apart from that, we also have the balloon as well as the baby dragon as a good combination. These two again do really good combo. You drop in the balloon and then drop in the baby dragon. The baby dragon is going to do air splash to save the minion horde, because it's a big counter for the for us into when it actually comes to winning the race. So if the opponent has a minion horde and if you have the balloon in front and the baby dragon up behind, it's definitely going to work out for you. Apart from that, we also have the miner and the balloon. In this case, you want to put in the miner up in front, because the miner has some really good hit points, and by the time the tower actually takes down the miner, the balloon will have reached the tower and at least dropped in one bomb. In that way again, you're doing some damage over there. The next synergy would be the balloon as well as the arrows. As soon as you drop in the balloon, get ready with the arrow, and as soon as you see, or if you don't see, in fact, you can just drop in the arrows before the opponent actually does drop in the counter. In that way, you're pretty much good to go. As soon as the troops take in but in the arena, they're just gonna die, and that's again a really great combo. The next one would be the lumberjack and the balloon. They're again really great. The lumberjack, once he dies, is gonna drop in the rage spell, which is really helpful for the balloon, because rage spell can actually do wonders to any troop, and in fact for balloon, which has really slow speed, is gonna do just amazing. Apart from that, we also have another good combo, that is the giant and the balloon. In this case, the giant is going to be the tank. Make sure you're dropping in the giant. Make sure that the tower is going to attack the giant, and after that drop in the balloon. It should pretty much be a really good one, because both of them want the tower. Both of them are going to go just for the tower, and that's really what you want to expect from a really cool card like the balloon and the giant. So in general, we're going to take into consideration these tips in order to make sure that you're using the balloon the right way. So when you're taking in the balloon, if you're the one is actually going to take the balloon in your side from the opponent is dropping in the balloon, there are some things you can actually do in order to counter that. So you probably can take in those counters, the electro wizard, the minion horde, and all those counters that I actually mentioned before. And if you don't want that, if you have a defensive building in your side, you can actually place it in the right direction, in the right way, in order to make sure that the balloon will not even do damage to that defensive building as well as to the tower. So that is absolutely perfect placement of that defensive building, and it's definitely going to take some time to master that, but if you can, that's going to make sure that the balloon will not even do damage to the defensive building as well as the the tower. Apart from that, you can actually use the tornado, the biggest counter to balloon. If you can actually pull the balloon towards the middle, apart from the balloon going towards the tower, then the balloon will not even actually do any damage to the tower at all. The tornado is the biggest counter for balloon, and if you are actually going to use the balloon, you're going to make sure that the balloon is not even going to test that tower. In that way, you're going to make sure that the balloon is not doing any damage to your tower at all. Apart from that, when you're actually dropping in the defensive building, you want to make sure that you're actually seeing an exclamatory mark on the balloon. In that way, you understand that the balloon is going to come towards you. If there's no exclamatory mark on the balloon, that means the balloon is going to go to the tower. If there is an exclamatory mark, then it's going to come towards that defensive building. So just long press on that building, just stay there for a second, just see the exclamatory mark and drop it, and that way you're going to know that the balloon is going to come towards the tower, the defensive building instead of the tower. Another thing which a lot of newcomers into the game actually do is just drop in the balloon without any counters, without any support troop for them behind the balloon. So without any card behind the balloon, it's really easy for the opponent to counter your balloon. It's definitely not the way to go. So you want to put in maybe a minion horde, maybe a baby dragon or something. The combos that I actually said they should actually be doing, and those should actually be in the arena when you're actually dropping in the balloon. Just don't drop in the balloon, it will not do any damage at all. So yeah, you guys, balloon again, you need to make sure you're dropping in a tank, and that way it's gonna work really great. The best example for that would be the giant and loon strategy. If you can combine these two, it's definitely going to be a big threat for the opponent. So make sure you're at least dropping in some of the other troop behind the balloon, and apart from that, if you cannot do that, you can actually at least drop in a tank in front of the balloon, and that way you're at least getting some value out of the balloon. So now it's pretty much a really great card. It's a really awesome card, and you need to make sure you're using it the right way, and this guy hopefully will help you do that. So yeah guys, thank you so much for watching till the very end, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for Clash of Clans or Clash Royale content every single day. And yeah, I'll be seeing you the next time. Until then, goodbye.